fantastic. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Daljeet. What got you into energy? How did you stumble upon this?
It was exactly that. I sort of stumbled into energy. My background before that was customer operations. That's where I started my career as an apprentice back in 1998. Energy was it wasn't intentional, me getting into that space. But once I was in, pretty much hooked with the energy environment, the landscape, the customer centricity that the energy companies are trying to push. It just matched my passion for my career development. So yeah, accidentally fell into energy.
Did you have any perceptions of energy or the energy sector? Of course, we're talking about a vast sector. There's so many different types of companies that play in the energy sector. Did you have a positive or negative perception?
My perception of the energy sector was probably that it had some work to do to build customer trust. But outside of that, being a consumer of energy, my experience was probably more just as a domestic consumer, not really having much to do with the energy sector. And the sectors that I worked in the past, we never crossed paths. It's 10 years in now into the energy sector. So definitely something that made me stay.
What was your first role in
I
energy?
started out as a team leader. I've worked my way through and progressed, and the energy sector has given me that opportunity to progress my career. But I started out as a team leader. I started out as an apprentice in the service space. Really enjoyed customer operations, servicing customers, working in contact center environments, and yeah, got given the opportunity to work for an energy company in their service sector as a team leader, managing complaints teams. So that was my first entry in, and then I progressed within that business. It's been a bit of a roller coaster ride for me.
I'm sure you had many great mentors along the way
Yeah, definitely.
that helped you and that who encouraged you. Do you have any shout outs or any memorable names from back then
Yeah, of course. I mean,
who were notable
I think
figures?
mentors, even from my early career, whether that was fantastic team leaders, I still remember all my team leaders from when I was an agent and I started out on the phone. Big shout out to Lynn Barbie at Avon Cosmetics back in 2006. Yeah, all these leaders that have shaped me as a person, have supported me on my journey. That was, another great leader I got the opportunity to work with was Emma Dark at the White Company. So a fantastic leader in the customer experience space. And I would have to shout out my current exec team as well, led by our CEO, Steve James. It's been a privilege to be part of this team and pushing the business forward. So lots of mentors, positive mentors that I absolutely have just given a shout out to.
And how fittingly, from a zeitgeist point of view, that you started off as an apprentice. Because nowadays, apprenticeship, I think, has always been incredibly important, but now it's exponentially more
Yeah,
so. How was your experience starting off as an apprentice?
I felt like back in 97, 98, it was fairly new to sort of my year group. And yeah, you're absolutely right. Now there are so many choices. There are so many companies understanding the benefits of taking on apprenticeships, nurturing them, offering them career progressions, pathways within the business. Specializing in various functions or industry sectors. So it's great to see that it's really taken off and that there's an alternative option for students after A levels to consider. University is great, and that is absolutely an option for many, but that's not the only option. And I think it's great that there's a lot of investment going on in that space, a lot of discussion, a lot of encouragement for students to consider other pathways, because university is not for everyone.
I totally agree. And it's so important, I think, for the energy sector. Coming to Valda
Yeah.
Energy, tell us a little bit about your journey with Valda. How did you fall in love with Valda and what do you do in Valda right now?
Yeah. So I joined Valda back in 2019. And I'm currently the COO for Valda Energy. I joined as the operations director. When I joined, I was employee number 5. But it's been a fantastic journey to have the opportunity to work for a sector that you enjoy, and then on top of that, for a startup company to have the opportunity to set up your teams, set up your infrastructure, your technology. It's been a fantastic learning experience, an experience that I don't think that I would have got anywhere anywhere else. Having the opportunity to have that helicopter view when you're in a startup company, you're wearing multiple hats for different functions and different levels at different times of the same day. It's been a real privilege to be part of that journey, going from 5 to 130 strong after 6 years, going straight into setting up the part of setting up the company, going straight into COVID, coming out of that successfully and going straight into energy crisis, and then still here, growing strength to strength it's been really challenging, but really, really exciting.
It sounds like the very definition of a roller coaster. And having survived that, I think it's a testament to the strength of the company and the proposition. On that, how would you sum up Valda Energy, who has never heard of you?
I mean, Valda Energy, we're 6 years in, and whilst we were a startup back in 2019, the senior executive team, the management team, it's not their first time in energy retail. They have set up successful energy businesses in the past. We would consider ourselves as experts in the SME supply space. We want to be synonymous with SME supply. We want people to think of a business energy and think of Valda Energy, think of smart meters, think of Valda Energy. We understand how difficult it is to set up a business and then be running all of your facilities and your energy management. So with that understanding, we're able to service our customers with a lot more empathy, a lot more understanding of the things that might need a little bit more care and explanation. So yeah, I would sum myself as the expert in the B2B energy space.
It's a very clear, I think, positioning and explanation. What are the questions that you get asked most often from people who are approaching you as, I want to take it from the point of view of people who are thinking about joining your company? What do they get most curious about?
I think that the number one question we're asked is around our culture and our progression opportunities. People who have followed our journey will see the sustainable growth that we've been through. That's really exciting because you know that when you join, the company is growing and the opportunities that come with us. So that's a really popular question. Interview time. It's what's the culture like? And we're really fortunate because of the journey we've been on. We can give first-hand examples of a number of colleagues within the business that have been able to progress up with us. And the investment that our L&D department make, whether that's in apprenticeships, whether that's in ILM, whether that's in leadership training. So that's definitely the most popular question. I think in terms of understanding the sector itself, I was actually looking at this a couple of weeks ago, and there aren't many, for example, university courses that specialize in energy supply or energy retail. So it is still something that's unknown. So we do get questions around what the day in the life of would be. That said, there's a lot of functions within an energy supply business that you would have anywhere else as well. We've got finance, IT, HR, L&D, all of those core support functions, as well as the more complex metering side of things, commercial, collection space. So all of those functions exist.
We always say, I mean, culture, I completely agree. It is so important, so crucial to a working environment, as is progress, as you said. We within Rulion talk about critical infrastructure and especially energy sector going through once in a generation renaissance and growth spurt. And we as a company find it incredibly exciting. How do you see the phase energy currently is in the UK? And then when you compare it to the rest of the world, does it excite you or does it worry you? Where do you stand?
Yeah, I think we are going through an exciting phase. There is absolutely a lot of investment being put into the energy infrastructure. Energy companies themselves are talking a lot more about bringing technology in to help the end user there, as well as their employee experience. So it's not just around the energy infrastructure and what's happening in that space, whether that's generation and transportation, but it's also around the technologies within the business. Energy sector has always been very data heavy. And so now with the technology space that we're in, there is so much opportunity to harness that data and actually get really valuable insights to become more operationally effective and efficient and make the right decisions. And that's going to have a direct impact back to the customer and the employee experience as well. So it's very exciting because although these conversations are happening, people aren't really scratching the surface yet. So there's a lot of talk around whether that's virtual agents, whether that's AI, whether that's the data platforms, they're still very much in conversation. So that's very exciting as to where that will go, and how that shapes sort of the next 10 years of service, as well as the energy sort of transportation and generation side of things.
Yeah, AI is definitely going to change the world. What would you say is the biggest challenge energy sector is facing?
For me, I would say it's the inconsistency in the way that customers receive their messaging around critical information. And that is something that I would love to see simplified for the customer, whether that's regulation changes, whether that is changes to billing, or whether that is changes to processes. Every supplier, every energy retailer is doing something slightly different. And that can be really confusing for the end user. And some of these things, if they're regulation based or process based, fundamentally are the same. So to be able to provide consistency, I think that would overcome a really big challenge. We've taken steps as a business to try and take the lead in educating customers. We work very closely with our marketing teams and our service teams to issue articles and guides to try and bust the energy industry, to try and simplify, well, what you might see in your bill, or if there is a particular issue that you're experiencing, what does it mean and how can we help you? And we need to all be consistent. That's one of the challenges that definitely I see.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Clear communication. I think the communication, it is, being someone in marketing, that's definitely a common challenge I can relate. For you personally, as Daljeet, first of all, what's exciting you? What's getting you up in the morning and say, yes, another day, great. And on the flip side, what's keeping you awake at night sometimes?
What excites me is to be part of a business and drive forward a culture that where I feel I have purpose, can add value. My contributions and my opinions and my ideas really matter. And that's something that we really feel strong about. So that absolutely motivates me on a daily basis to make sure that that is then translated down to all of the teams, that they feel heard, that their ideas are listened to. That's always excited me, not standing still, constantly asking yourself, can we do it better? It's those cliche sort of phrases that we've all heard, but actually to be in a position to drive change rather than post things in a suggestion box is really, really exciting. And I think having a team that that are also we're all heading in the same direction. We've all got the same vision and purpose. We're all being led by someone who shares that vision and purpose is really, really exciting. And you can really feel the progress, and it's really rewarding. I think, I'll be honest, not a lot keeps me up at night.
That's wonderful.
Yes,
Good sleep.
absolutely. 2 minutes and I'm out like a light. I wouldn't say Yeah.
Fantastic. Lucky
I
you.
wouldn't say that there aren't challenges within a business. I wouldn't say that there aren't things that need addressing, that there aren't, ways to improve the service or the processes or the technology. Absolutely. But when you know you've got the right team and you've got the right culture and vision, it offers a sense of reassurance for me that we can push forward with it. I've always said to my teams, 6 years of ups and downs, whether that's energy crisis, whether that's COVID, there has never been a situation where, with the right minds in the right room, that you can't power through a problem and solve it. So just having that on-site presence, we're having that workshop and a solution-focused attitude, and make sure that everyone, not just me, goes home and is able to sleep and not be kept up at night, because it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, such a balanced view. And indeed, it comes down to culture. I
Yeah,
think you re-emphasize the point. When you have a healthy, balanced culture that underlines the can-do
yeah,
attitude, but in a team, safe environment, that's, as you said, it's not a one-off. It's a
yeah.
sprint. 6 years. And what a 6 years. It sounds like you didn't have a single dull day. My last question, if you had a magic wand, what would you change, either about the industry or the company? Or you can change anything you want. But
Gosh,
you have a magic wand for this.
that's an interesting question. If I could change something about the industry, I think it would echo what I said earlier. It would be around creating simplicity. It's a very complex industry. When you get that helicopter view, you realize it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be complex. So my magic wand would simplify all of that for sure. And then outside of that, I think it's around just continuing on with the journey that we're on. The most important thing is our culture, and I think that we've got a really solid start for that.
Well, and you are such a, I think, advocate or poster person for that culture. And I think proving by your resume, you don't have to be always from energy background. You can be from all sorts of backgrounds and still get into energy.
Yeah, we've got some fantastic success stories within the business in the past, in the service areas that I've worked in even previous companies. Some great success stories that don't start off with a university degree. Some of them do, and that's fantastic. And so with the right will, the skill can be taught for sure.
Daljeet, you've been such a gracious and energetic and passionate guest in our interview. Thank you so much.